Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here with another Exos Heroes video, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about FC Emma. How good she is, we're going to break her down. We got actual gameplay of her. I'm going to take her into a few things, testing the defense down mechanic and showing the damage differences between that. So first, let's go over the new changes. If you guys haven't read the patch notes, it's all a change on her passive here. They added two things. So the first thing is nobility, decreases the defense of the attacking enemy by 20% of the caster's max health for 7 turns if the caster survives an attack. Stacks up to 4 times. And then next passive is it decreases the defense of all enemies by 30% of the caster's max health for 10 turns when the caster dies. So you get multiple effects there. So the first thing I thought when seeing this is mainly she was pretty much used as a character for the Holy Dragon Grounds. And seeing this just makes her better in that area. But then also I was thinking too is she could be good in like trials, for example, because that's a type of content where they'll artificially increase the difficulty of the content by just making characters kind of break the laws of the game by just attacking like right at the start and stuff like that. So you're constantly having to take hits. So then odds are you're probably going to proc this passive quite a bit in both of those areas of the game. I didn't really think she would be that good in PvP, and it also really depends on how good the defense down is. That's why the first thing I wanted to do is test it in an area where I can check the stats, see what kind of damage difference we can expect. So I have some screenshots here of what I found. And I went over to trials here and just picked a random match that was kind of in the middle here. I just wanted to, nothing too hard. I wanted to have it on easy. Was able to figure out just how much of a damage boost we get. Okay, so here is the first screenshot, and this is after they go before you're allowed to go. They just go first, and then one of them actually hit. So this guy on the left here, it's kind of hard to see, but they're the same type of character. This guy and this guy are the same type. So I feel like that's a pretty good test on whether or not, like how much damage we're going to actually do to each character here. If you guys want me to test this more, let me know down in the comments if there's anything specific you want me to test, but I figure it doesn't need to be too crazy in depth or something like this, just kind of a general idea of what to expect. And then after this, we also got a run in the Holy Dragon Grounds. It was actually a really good day for it because it's Sunday, so we were able to test it all the way through phase 4 as well. Health of her right now is about 8,000, so this adds up. I also added Bathory in here because I wanted to do the math and see if Bathory's passive applied to this, which says her max health in the description of the thing. So I figured it would be Bathory would stack it, then they attack, and then 20% of her increased health pool. I thought that's how it would do it, but apparently not. It's just whatever her max health is going into the match, which is a little disappointing. Combine her with like, oh, and also Garf is in here too. So it should have been 40%, 20%, 20%. I need to look and see if it's like additive or multiplicative. I'm not too sure on it. Never actually looked at that until I just thought about that right now. And then also we don't really know a lot of stuff about defense. We don't know if there's any diminishing returns or how it scales or how much percent mitigation it has. Unless we did a whole bunch of testing, maybe there is someone else that's done a ton of testing on this. I haven't really done this at all, really. It's just really frustrating that there's so much of the defense stat we just don't know about without having to do these manual tests like this. It's just kind of a bummer. Like, especially playing Genshin Impact, which explains it all. There's a whole bunch of math channels on it because it's all out there. It's so much more fun to know exactly how your stats are impacting your character versus this. All that out of the way, let's get into this picture here. So we're reducing more, like he has negative defense at this point. I don't know if that actually matters in this game, but negative defense at this point, because we have the 1534 and then minus 1595. Okay. And then now let's go into the next screenshot here. That's going to show how much damage, because in the order here, we have Dorka and then we have Brook. That's going to be the two things that we have for the auto attacks we can compare, because those are the ones that auto attack here before the character gets broken. And I figured that wasn't a really good test. We got hits on after they're broken, after those two characters go. So I figured I just wanted to add that. Here's the damage difference. Might be hard to see here, but here is so her auto has kind of a 2-part to it. So it goes 7,800 and then 3,343 right there. It might be hard to see, especially with like YouTube compression and stuff like that. Now let's go into Brook's auto here. Oh, here's a better way of seeing it. Okay, so 7,801 and then 3,343. Just a better picture. And then now here's the first hit. Also, it breaks them because it has the multiple hits. So this is not a broken hit, but it's 4,898 and then 2,099. Those hits there. And then now let's actually check the hits for the other one that actually doesn't have any defense down at all. The first hit, so the difference is we go 7,800 to 5,800. So it's 2,000 attack drop off. That's a pretty high percentage there. Roughly the same ratio in damage drop off there to now 3,689. And then here's the other one way over here, this 1,580. So it seems like a pretty consistent, significant damage difference for doing this, which I think is pretty encouraging. You know, like it's a solid character. I think this character might not be worth pulling, but is definitely a character that's, you know, might get some use now. And that's only with one stack. In this situation, one stack wiped out their defense completely. And this is with an Emma that doesn't have that much health, only has 8,000, which could be significantly increased. You know, like there's characters nowadays that have, you know, 20k, you know, like 15k, something realistic. Let's say 12k. You get my point where this is a low health Emma, and this is only one stack. And this ability stacks potentially based on which content you're doing and how often people are attacking and the situation in the game. You can guarantee a lot of stacking in is going to be Holy Dragon Grounds. And I think a lot of people thought like, okay, she's going to be good there. So I pre-recorded a run in Holy Dragon Grounds. So let's go over that. Okay, so here's the footage of the run. Here we are. What I ended up doing is I chose to take 4 characters for a couple of reasons. Mainly is I wanted to see the same characters hitting over and over again to see if we can actually get an idea of how well the decreased defense is actually stacking on here, and then get more turns of Emma actually going. I just want to try to test her out the best I can, and this seemed to be the best way I could think of it. If I stacked up the whole team, maybe it would be a little better, but I chose to go with only 4 because I wanted to see as much Emma as possible in this. Passive is not going to matter on how many characters there are actually in here because the dragon always goes every 3 turns, which is actually really nice for this passive because it's always going to keep stacking. You're going to get multiple stacks up to reduce as much defense as possible. I'm not sure how much defense the dragon actually has, how much damage we're actually going to burn through here. Also, I wanted to see if it worked in phase 4, which it does. Phase 4 is interesting, trying to get as much damage as you possibly can. It's just kind of like a fun thing I like to do. I don't take it too seriously, but it is fun to try to beat your high score in phase 4 of the dragon, even though it doesn't really matter. It doesn't get you extra rewards. I feel like. And then lastly, about her kit that I want to say is that her attack down on her A2 actually scales with how strong she is. So we're getting about like a 73% of her own attack on here. Whereas if you had less combat power in FC Emma, you'd be like reducing like 50% or maybe like 55% attack of her own attack. So it's not only you're going to have a higher number in attack, but you're going to have a higher percentage of the attack of her attack that you're going to reduce. So very powerful effect there. So let's get into the run. All right. And so here, I'm just going to play it from here. So this first hit, you're going to take a lot of damage on, but then now the Dragon Blood passive is going to proc in. So we don't have to worry about dying. But as you'll see, she hits really hard. Yeah. This is where we're going to actually start to really be able to evaluate it. So we got the first one, first defense down, and notice. Let's see if I can pause it. Notice how it stacks here. Notice how in the top you see the 6T and you see a 5T. It doesn't just you'll see 2 separate debuffs, and it doesn't refresh it. It's not like when you get the second stack, it refreshes it to where it's just 1 stack, and then now it's a 40% reduction. It's 2 separate debuffs here that turn out to be becoming 40% defense reduction, which I thought was kind of interesting. Then we're going to see, this is kind of annoying. So this is now her decreased attack on here. I wish they showed this a little better. Here, let me see if I can get, yeah, see, notice how it's just the same looking debuff here. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, but you can kind of see it. I don't want to move on a little bit. Here, let me see. Okay, right there. There we go. So then it's the 4T is a decreased defense. The 5T is a decreased defense, but the 9T is a decreased attack. I don't like that at all. The debuffs have always been very unclear in this game, but this is like next level unclear. One thing you can know is that the decreased defense is never going to be a 9-turn debuff. So if you're really watching, you'll know that that has to be decreased attack, but still annoying. And then like we were doing earlier for the trial campaign thing, since it's not a forced auto, I'm able to actually like hold down their character portraits and see how much stats they have. Whereas with the dragon, I cannot do that. It'd be very interesting to see just how much defense he has and how much we're actually reducing here. Which I think would be pretty cool. But unfortunately, we can't do that. Okay, and so now I'll let you guys evaluate for yourself just on how much damage we're getting, if it's worth it or not for you. Okay, now let's play it. So the decreased attack's always been very useful in my opinion. As long as you you make sure your team doesn't have too many people going fast, because then you'll never get to use her. I have videos about like turn order and the dragon, but I think it makes a big difference. But like look at the kind of damage we're doing here. Signature Force does help a ton, but still, I feel like like that right there. Like look at that. Wow. We went from Emma alone. Here, let's first look at how many debuffs we got. So we have we have 4 right now, but I want to say one of them a decreased attack. Okay. I'm almost positive one's a decreased attack. But this is like some of the craziest damage I've seen. And then it is kind of a bummer that the phase switches reduce the stacking. It's not like we're going to go into the next stage with the stack. We have to build it up. So phase 3 and phase 4 are going to be situations where you can actually build up a decent amount of stacks. Even though, as we proved in the previous part, that 1 stack is a ton of defense. Okay. So I believe this is three defense stacks. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but we see 4 of them, but I believe one of them is an attack down. Okay, so then she does, like by herself, like, this is like a 70k crit. Just an Emma with bad gear. The other characters are rank 1, you know what I mean, like awakened and all that. But this character threw on her piece machine set. She's unawakened. I almost feel like the machine set's better in this, as you'll see in phase 4. I think for a lot of characters, I think unawakening them for dragon is better for phase 4. But so she goes, that's a lot of damage. And then boom, it finishes the encounter there. And I want to say that decreased defense really played a factor there in how much damage she's doing. I don't think she would ever hit for like 70k if it wasn't for a 60% decreased damage. This is where the machine sets come up clutch, because we're still attacking, even though we should have all gotten stunned, but machine sets come up clutch. So now we got the decreased attack here. This is going to help with a ton of survivability, because look at all that damage, even with the decreased attack. This guy just hits really hard in this phase. So if we had more characters that had the 20% reduction of his effects in phase 4, if we had more characters in machine sets, we might actually be able to survive a little bit longer here, do more damage. But I think this, for what this is and how much gear we've actually invested on Emma, I think this is actually really good. Also, the hamster guy is not doing that much damage. It doesn't have good gear either. The Garf does, for sure. Okay, and then this is me hard resetting it, but okay, so I thought I died there, but no, she survived just a little with a sliver and then finished it off here, and then she goes twice for some reason, which I don't understand why that happened. But 450k, 4 characters, under-geared Emma. I think she's actually pretty strong. Understand just how much defense actually affects characters. Once we know that, then we'll be able to really evaluate just how much she's actually doing. Pretty safe to say she's solid. I think this is a good boost for people that already have her. But unfortunately, I don't think she's worth summoning for. She doesn't impact the game enough to where you'd want to summon for her, but if you ever get her passively, you got actually a pretty good character. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for this video. Sorry this one came out so late. You can see in the video, I recorded this on Sunday. It's coming out on Thursday. So sorry about that. I know there's not that much time left in the increased rates event, but let me know down in the comments below if you guys are actually going to pull for her or not. And then also, what you guys think of this style of video? I'm curious on, like, do you think this is actually an impactful passive now that you kind of have an idea how much damage she does, and after seeing that run in the Holy Dragon Grounds? So, all right, guys, well, you guys have a good one. Peace.